Ladies and gentlemen, there has been a relatively insane situation that has developed over the last week or 2 weeks on YouTube. It is this ultimate Logan Paul versus Bobby Lee versus George Janko situation. I wasn't sure if I should cover this because I don't think it'll get views, but fuck it, we ball. So I covered this once before, where George Janko basically made an entire video coming out about how Logan Paul knew that he got sexually assaulted by this guy over here, by this dude, Bobby Lee, and despite that, he didn't actually let anything happen. He didn't stick up for his best friend, and because of that, Logan was under fire. Now, I think Logan Paul's a piece of shit. This is old news, but I think that this might be the worst thing he's ever done. The fact that he actually sat back and let his best friend get sexually assaulted in front of him, that might have been one of the wildest rides of all time. I can't... Scamming your fans? Alright, sure. Letting your best friend get sexually assaulted? Crazy shit. But I went through this story with a fine-toothed comb, and I have discovered something that I don't see other people talking about, and it is making me mad. Will it get me out of the public love and perception? Perhaps. But we do it this way. I am going to break down why Logan Paul is a piece of shit, Bobby Lee is a piece of shit, and also why I think George Janko is kind of a piece of shit too. God, fuck, I'm gonna... Why am I doing this? So first, let's get the timeline straight. George Janko, Logan Paul, and Mike Dick Suck Guy are all on the same team. They are running a podcast, and once upon a time, episode 351 of their podcast, they have Bobby Lee on, and it is messy. Bobby Lee really insults George a lot, like disgusting amounts. Like look at this one, a few segments here before we get into the nitty gritty of the details as to why I think this is the fakest group of people of all time. Look at this shit.
I'll take your hug.
Why'd you ask them if you could hug him?
A hug. Look at that. Bobby Lee hugging this guy. That's so nice.
Nice. Yeah, that was.
Looks at the camera.
That was nice, actually. That was nice. That was nice, Bobby.
That was nice. You see, Bobby likes Logan Paul because you see, Logan Paul is, as they say, famous as fuck. All right, love that.
I don't smell good on my bottom because you know here's the thing, is I'm single now and I've been fucking. You want to smell my dick?
One of us in this room will.
Yeah, smell my dick because I have no cologne here.
He's literal dick sucker, dude. Look at. I didn't even notice that. Look at this.
Dick?
You want to smell my dick?
What?
He looks at him because obviously he doesn't want to insult Logan Paul. You see, Logan Paul, he's the famous guy, and look at Mike Dick Suck Guy. Look at him.
One of us in this room.
Literally up there, he is ready. He is like, yo, I've trained my entire life for this. All right. Anyway.
Smell my dick because I have no cologne here, but I spray the fuck on my dick.
Why?
Maybe Mike, you want to smell?
I would.
No, you are. No, you are.
No question.
And he's like, no. What?
No question.
I'm not gonna pull it out. I'm gonna just do the underwear.
Question.
It would be him. It would
be him. Okay, cool. Love that.
be George.
Yeah, George.
It would.
Yeah. Dude, just smell.
No.
George, you know, the religious Christian guy. Him.
No. You can't spray your dick with cologne.
Why?
Because if you end up getting oral sex, they're gonna taste the cologne. You gotta go under to the gooch, and everyone knows that.
He's got an answer.
No, I have an answer to that.
P comedy, guys.
The side
Is that
gooch.
Yeah, right. Like
side gooch.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
But it can't be too heavy either. All right.
Dude, what the fuck is this? This is the worst show of all time. But anyway, not the point.
But what you guys don't get is that there's no girl on the horizon, right? So I spray it first.
It's like biblical what you just said.
Well, it is, right? Yeah.
All right, whatever. I can't stand this fucking fellatioing here going on. And now look at this scene. He obviously is not very excited about it.
Smell his dick.
Oh shit, his ass is out.
Look at the tattoo.
All the money and you're using fruit.
I feel like you got that in prison.
Yeah, I did.
Dude, I just got the biggest boner for some reason.
This part.
Literal dick suck champion over here.
Smell this part. No, smell. You gotta smell it.
I just wafted it.
Dude, dude, this is not gay. It's podcasting. It's for entertainment.
It's material.
And these guys are like, yo, that's so real. No, this isn't sexual assault. Don't worry.
And in improv, you never disagree. You always agree. Because yes and you ruin the fucking moment if you don't do it.
Look, what is he doing? He's like literally yelling at him in front of millions of people. What is this?
So you're gonna fucking smell my dick, and it's not gay.
It's material, George.
Yeah. So here.
He grabs his head, dude. What?
I have to grab your head.
No.
It smells good. It smells good. Don't smell it.
And he's like, oh my god, dude. Again and
He's right, it
again.
smells like-
Does
what
it
is
really?
Like
Does it
what?
really?
Like,
It smelled like he sprayed it like 2 days ago.
what does?
Anyway, whatever. This part, not super important. But, so George Janko ends up going on a little monologue over here. Actually, he explains some real
But,
shit.
yeah, we just need writers to edit that down.
Right? He said like a whole monologue of how something is super important to him, and obviously Bobby Lee makes fun of him in classic comedian way, I suppose.
Like if we had a staff of writers, they'd be like, yeah, we'll cut that. But
I'm sorry.
essentially, it was a really good monologue.
Usually when I do my comedy, I don't have writers in the room. I actually write my own stuff.
Okay, I can tell.
Yeah, he walked into that one.
But maybe you should get a writer. But my point is,
Anyway, it keeps going. It keeps going.
is it like this?
Dude, this is insane. It's insane.
Yeah, actually, kind of.
I don't think many men are leaving it bushy these days.
Yeah, yeah, I don't like bushy.
I really don't.
Yeah.
Who are the women?
He sits
If he was-
here with his back to George. Literally his back to George the entire time. He is sitting here completely destroyed. And look at this.
Let's go back a reel. Now we're doing real.
Apparently he kept grabbing his dick the entire podcast too, and they kept cutting all this shit out to make him look as lame as possible. But I just want you to get the full picture to cover this properly, okay?
Yes.
Let's go back to the reel, okay?
Look how he's sitting. This is the most disrespectful shit I've ever seen.
There are certain.
He is clocked out.
Yeah,
Oh, he's-
I know.
George has been under a tremendous
Let me-
amount of abuse.
No, George.
No, stop, George. I want you over here with me. George, I want you over here with me.
And he storms off the podcast. So here's the thing. After an entire hour and a half of this guy sticking his balls in his face, humiliating him in public, grabbing his dick, and all that shit, he ended up leaving. He ended up storming off. And they framed this podcast as to the fact that he stormed off because he was insulted, because he couldn't take a joke. That's how they framed it, because they cut out all the really weird sexual stuff.
Chase him down. Go. You find him. George, no, go get him. Go get him. I said this, he walked, and that's a first, and now we're going to have to deal with the fallout of this
All right, you have to deal with the fallout, okay?
episode for the
Logan,
next 2
Mike, let me ask you
fucking
guys
months. I swear to God, Bobby Lee, you fucking pissed off my co-host. He's probably crying in the driveway.
That makes him feel better. That's definitely the right way to frame it. He's probably crying in the driveway. And anyway, they're all still laughing the whole time.
Profile picture.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying is that hurt and abandoned.
I know.
I feel rejected.
Me too.
And this
And
is
then he goes on this whole, I feel abandoned, I feel rejected.
right. I feel hurt and abandoned.
I'm sure you do.
I feel rejected.
Yeah.
And
Oh, you've rejected.
this was fucked up, bro.
Yeah, fucked up. He feels so disrespected. That is disgusting.
All right. So if he doesn't come, because I gotta go now.
No,
I know.
got-
If
we
he
got
doesn't come back here, by the time I'm done,
I'm walking too.
No, get him.
what the fuck?
No, you get him. I'll conversation.
You better come back because
Logan.
I'm telling you something right now. Hey, so Mike,
Yeah.
Anyway, insanely weird situation. So my guy over here drops a video. George Janko drops a video talking about how he was basically sexually assaulted by this guy and humiliated and all that. Where is it? Yeah, this one. So 2 million views on this one. As you could tell, he normally gets like 130,000 views on an episode. But he managed to get 2 million where he confronted Mike MajlakkkujgasLKUHsda and called out Logan Paul. Anyway, Sunny Vtube did a good job over the next in this little segment of his video covering how this situation evolved over the next couple of months. And so we're gonna do this, and then you are gonna see something absolutely insane.
First of all, what's my name?
Sensing George's clear insecurity, Bobby began to roast George whenever he got the opportunity.
you have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Is that your girlfriend? Without fame, you wouldn't get that.
Although the ultimate
Nice.
roast would come after George went on a 2.5-minute monologue about the struggles he faced in his life.
And I don't mean this in a cocky way, but like, dude, this put me on a very strong map, and it made a lot of my avenues blow up.
All
so
right.
I'm
It's
very
like that's-
blessed, but I didn't know I was gonna be here. So
It's
for
like
me-
that's. You done? That was
Hilarious.
just a long monologue.
He was just waiting.
And let me just say something. I loved what you were saying. It was just very long. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
usually
yeah,
me.
yeah.
That's usually.
But you know, I got what you're saying, and you really inspired me, George. Can I say something?
First of all, don't touch me.
Yeah.
He's literally saying, "Don't touch me." This is after him grabbing his dick for an hour and a half. But him saying "don't touch me" makes a lot of sense in context, doesn't it? Like, this Sunny V2 video came out a year ago, literally 11 months before this entire situation went down and we actually got more insight into the situation. Look how differently you could frame this. Sunny V2, without having all the context, framed this as, he's such a pathetic bitch, he can't take a joke. Because that's how Logan Paul wanted it to be framed. Not the fact that he was literally sexually assaulted by this guy for an hour straight.
Do not touch me.
My bad. Yeah, we just need writers to edit that down.
What?
Like, if we had a staff of writers, they'd be like, yeah, we'll cut that. But
I'm sorry.
essentially, it was a really good monologue.
Usually when I do my comedy, I don't have writers in the room. I actually write my own stuff.
Okay, I can tell.
I
Maybe you
Yeah.
should get a writer. But my point is...
For the rest of the podcast, George went into his own little world, except for when Bobby got his attention just so he could roast him again.
All right, George.
so sad.
What I'm saying is that
better
when
when
you
I
were
was
talking, we were here for that 30 minutes.
Bro, and then you have Logan Paul in the back there. I love how they realize that all you have to do is suck each other's dick properly enough, and that way all the clout can be shared. You see, Logan Paul can suck off Bobby Lee, and Bobby Lee can suck off Logan Paul, and Mike can suck off everybody, because that's his profession. And that's what this entire industry is actually about. But George Janko, who's not famous yet, just wait, dude. Just literally wait for the end of this stream segment. You are gonna lose your shit when you see how this goes down.
Eventually leading George to walk off the
There's a video compilation of all the interviews where Bobby Lee did shit to women too. Listen, I have a purpose and a goal here, and you'll see it soon.
podcast, get in an Uber, and leave without saying goodbye. The episode received comments such as, "It's impossible to call yourself a comedian if you can't handle being slaughtered by other comedians, especially the Captain Bob himself."
But this is the context because they framed it as he can't take a joke, not he was sexually harassed.
George tells everyone he's going to be the best comedian alive, but he can't take a joke from the legendary Bobby Lee. It's like a badge of honor. How does he think most comedians communicate with each other? I've always thought George thinks he's funnier than he really is. And when people
Anyway, he got literally years of insulting, insane.
by Jamari gained well over 1 million
Wannabe comedian walks off podcast after a joke. The entire internet was making fun of him because that is how this was framed.
views, leading George to address the criticism in the following episode of Impulsive by arrogantly stating that he enjoyed all the hatred.
I love that people were just commenting and getting so steamed. It made me realize, like, oh, I really don't care. I want it. I want to be in their heads more. Like,
This is a lie! A lie! All right, this is why I wanted to do this, because the entire internet's anti-Logan Paul based, anti-Bobby Lee based, but somehow pro-George Janko because he's just such a nice, wholesome guy. You are lying to everyone, okay? And now, a little lie here and there. I personally hate liars. Lying is one of my least favorite things out there. When someone lies to me, I just never trust them again. It's a personal issue that I have due to past experiences and backstabbings and shit in my own life. But this is a lie. You obviously hated it, as you should. I'm not saying you shouldn't have hated it. Based that you hated it. You hated it so much, in fact, that, a year later, you came out with this guy. You came out with this whole video talking about how, it really hurt you. And it still hurt you. And Bobby Lee sexually harassed you. Interesting.
Like, I like it.
Love how George is trying to act like he's not heard about this when he had to leave the pod because Bobby Lee, out of all people, almost made him cry.
He also sexually assaulted him, by the way. Harassed, allegedly. Grabbed his dick and shit. Whatever. Put his balls on his face. All right, whatever. Yeah, because he couldn't take a joke. Because that's how it was edited.
Dude is a clown. A week after George responded, Logan appeared on Bobby Lee's podcast, Tiger Belly, where Bobby took a moment to talk about George's behavior.
What he did.
This is also so classic. Oh, God, I love this. You ready? Are you ready? Oh, you are so not ready for this part.
Was unprofessional.
Yeah.
I was a guest.
Yeah.
He walked out on a guest.
Yeah.
If this guy right here walked out on a guest, he would be reprimanded.
Before roasting him.
Oh, okay. How dare George Janko walk out on a guest? He is not happy with him. He was insulted and slighted.
Yet again.
If you had walked out, right, it would have been like, oh, it's over. But him walking out was just kind of like, let's keep going.
Bobby and
Look at Logan laughing at this joke. Meanwhile, he knows what's going on. All right.
Logan then decided that they should get George on a call.
Can you give me his number?
You want to settle this right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna call him right now.
Oh, this'll settle it. Don't worry, guys.
Bobby and George to fix their relationship.
I want to apologize for
Look at him laughing. I wanna apologize.
my behavior on your podcast.
Bobby Lee, you shut your mouth. I'm apologizing to you.
Oh, great. Got him. You shut your mouth. I am the one apologizing. All right. George Janko, he realizes he made a mistake.
I left you. You were our guest.
I want to pull back my apology then. Because I too. Because I literally did not feel sorry. I pulled out of the apology. I don't feel sorry, but I will accept yours, right? And hopefully, you know, when I come back to your podcast, we can make it right.
However, it was obvious.
So, very interesting. Turns out, George Janko is the one that wants to apologize. Not because he feels bad, not because he thinks he did anything wrong, because as we know, a year later, he comes out with this video. But no, it's for the clout brownie points that the internet should see that he is apologizing. Anyway, let's keep going.
Is that the whole thing had caused?
It gets darker. It gets darker, bro. You don't understand that this recontextualizes so much about all three of them. Every single one of them is just a clout gobbling, grifting piece of shit that doesn't give a crap about anyone else or any of their actual friendships. It's insane. Remember, Logan and George are best friends, allegedly.
A serious fracture between George and Logan, becoming most obvious when they get into an almost hour-long argument, only 5 episodes after the Bobby Lee podcast.
So this not super important. Logan Paul, whatever, insults his religion, and he gets very offended by Logan Paul insulting his religion, as Logan Paul does. Logan Paul's a piece of shit, but again, that's not the point here.
Not appropriate at all.
However, George seemed to realize that his days on Impulsive were numbered, as he'd create his own podcast before clickbaiting the first episode with the title, Why George Janko is Not on Impulsive.
So that is how he starts his channel. While they were still in cahoots and in a podcast together. If you go to his oldest videos, he starts off with why George Janko is not on Impulsive. This ultimate big video as to why he left. He used Impulsive to clickbait himself leaving. All right? That's pretty fucked up. But anyway, it gets worse.
Implying that he'd left the group. George used the video to explain that this hadn't really happened.
Obviously, I'm still on Impulsive, guys. For any of
Oh, hilarious. Okay, all right.
you guys that are like, oh, their beef situation, and now he's starting his own like lane.
Even going so
That is exactly how you framed it to get people on your channel so you could eventually break away from Impulsive, which I'm not saying is such a terrible thing, but it is pretty scummy and backstabby, I'm not gonna lie.
far as to say their relationship was as good as ever.
Me, Logan, and Mike are in a perfect place.
Yet it was
That's how he needs to frame everything. He always frames it like everyone's in a perfect place. He always frames it as him being in such a good guy that just loves everybody and loves everything and loves God. And listen, I love everybody and love God. But this is some fake shit. God said, don't be a fake bitch. And unfortunately, it really seems like he's kind of doing that.
It was obvious that this clickbait video had annoyed Logan.
I'm just doing this for a couple weeks so then I could leave and clickbait that why I left Impulsive. You know?
That's good. It's a good strategy.
That'll crush.
It's been done. It's been done many
Yeah.
times.
Of course he felt like shit. He betrayed him. I mean, who betrayed who first? Not the point. They're all pieces of shit. Again, this is the thesis here. This whole weird LA influencer group, they're all garbage.
And it works.
By who? Oh,
Well, you can make a real living for yourself, you know? We've seen the model.
Resulting in more and more uncomfortable moments on the podcast.
You don't give a shit about this show anymore, let's be honest. It's like bands that hate each other that have to get on stage every night and play for
Yeah, turns out they do hate each other. Crazy how that happened.
the audience. Like,
Comparing themselves to a band forced to play together.
They'd be like, this is it.
At around the same point in time, George unfollowed both Logan and Mike on Instagram.
Crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going here because we don't need the whole Sunny V2 video for this thesis. So far, we had the past. The Bobby Lee situation where he actually was sexually harassing this man. It wasn't just some not very nice jokes that offended him. He got the next year of harassment and apologizing and bootlicking and starting his own channel and everything. And then eventually drops this video talking about how he never really forgave the guy because he was actually, assaulted by him. And then he does an interview with Bobby Lee. between this one and this one, Bobby Lee got so much hate. For these like 3 weeks in between this episode and this episode, Bobby Lee got insane hate. People were calling him, a sexual predator and all that shit. So obviously he's gonna come on. And now, unlike before, where George Janko was just the third wheel on a popular podcast, right? Before George Janko was this guy. The guy, he's not even facing George Janko, insulting him the entire time, and he gives Logan Paul a big hug and all that shit. Here, look at this beautiful moment. Are you ready for a beautiful moment? Oh, beautiful moment, beautiful moment. He just loves Logan Paul, you know what I'm saying? He just loves Logan Paul. But then, when it turns out, George Janko has a pretty successful podcast of his own, pretty successful career of his own. Now he's getting called out for all the shit. In the past, he apologized, right? He was the one in the wrong. He called Bobby Lee to apologize. I wonder what he's gonna say.
So George, we'll talk about other things, but I want to open up by saying that I'm sorry. I feel.
Oh, interesting. You're sorry because you retracted your last apology.
I just want to break down what happened with the Jake Paul podcast.
Hilarious, because he great joke. But also, imagine inviting someone that sexually assaulted you, because that was he claimed. He claimed on his previous episode he was literally sexually assaulted by this guy. You invite the guy that sexually assaulted you onto your podcast? Anyway.
Okay. So I usually do podcasts in my ecosystem, right? So it's like I know the rhythms and I know what I can and can't say, and generally, everything, is people are pretty open to, they know who I am, right? But with you guys, I didn't know, so and also it's a huge platform, so I was like super nervous. So
I was so nervous I put my balls in your face. I was so nervous I grabbed your penis.
I tend to get bullyish and out of survival.
Except he only bullied George. He did not bully Logan because Logan's famous. George was a nobody.
Okay.
And you looked at the weak calf. I get it, dude.
You're not a weak calf.
No, I get it, dude. I get it, dude. I would do the same thing if I
Really?
saw him. No, you can't eat him.
Okay.
Stop.
So anyway,
Tommy, get
I
over
can
here.
get a taste.
Save my dog. Get him out of
He'd
here.
be so delicious, though.
Dude,
I just took his tongue.
I saw you lick him before he licked you.
Yeah. God, no MSG or anything. I love it.
Hilarious.
But anyway, so when number one, I don't even. I do so many podcasts. I don't even remember what I said or did or didn't do.
The podcast is still on YouTube, homie. It is literally still there. How on earth, after 4 weeks of this guy getting canceled for allegedly sexually assaulting George, how on earth do you go on and say, I don't remember what happened there?
I remember moments. And also, secondly, when you walked off the set, I literally was confused by it.
I was so confused. It was crazy. And then my dick slipped in your mouth. I don't know how it got there.
No, I don't know the drama behind the podcast.
There was no drama behind the podcast. There was none. Literally none. Yet it happened after.
I know that you had written this speech.
I wish I had writers for it.
Right. And you know what I mean? I thought the comedy instinct was to say that it was like boring or whatever, and I felt
He really is still gonna frame it that he just was offended by his joke.
asleep.
Yeah.
And the third thing is that, and I truly don't remember, and it is on brand, but I don't remember ever trying to touch you. But
I don't remember that happening at all.
if I did that, I literally don't remember, but if I did that, I'm sorry. I do it for comedy reasons. I don't know anything about your religion or who you are. In fact, I didn't really know who you. I know who you are now.
Now you're famous. That's why I'm here. Figured I can get 1 million views on this video.
But I didn't really know who you were, and
You were irrelevant, so I didn't give a shit when that happened.
But with all that being said,
I'm just translating the shit needs for you guys.
I really truly apologize.
Because remember before when he rescinded his apology? Remember that?
I mean, I love people. I love podcasting, and I think that you're a voice that people talk about now.
Oh! I'm here because you're a voice that people talk about now. Interesting. Wow. Bro literally just said it all, didn't he? Genuine apology. Genuine apology. You see, before you were irrelevant, and therefore I didn't care when I put my penis in your face. But now that you're a voice that people talk about, I am dreadfully sorry.
And, you know,
I was born in the dark. You merely inhabit it.
and you're here, and
You're here, bro.
I just apologize. It's like,
No,
I'm sorry.
All joking aside.
Seriously.
Beautiful moment between someone and someone who gets sexually assaulted and their alleged assaulter. Isn't that beautiful? That's just touching.
For real, I really appreciate that. Can I tell you what really?
Because last time he said he apologized to you, you apologized. You said it was actually your fault. Oh, but that's still when you were working with Logan Paul, not when you had your own platform and now suddenly people are on your side. Okay, cool.
It really hurt me though. I ain't Ringo, bro.
You're George Martin.
No, do you
Hilarious. He got his name wrong.
know what I'm talking about or not?
No, but with you, you mean with you?
You called me Ringo.
I know. So who are you, George?
Well, look how casually he said this shit. Look how casually he's like, I'm sorry, and then it's all fine. It's all good. The insane mob that George stirred up with this 2 million view video where he said that I was sexually assaulted in front of my best friends and no one did anything. And now Bobby Lee comes on your show because he's getting an insane amount of hate and you're also being talked about, as he said, right? And here you are, bro. I mean, I'd never heard of Bobby Lee before all of this. This is the ultimate brand, right? I heard of him now and I didn't hear of him before. Look at this, baby.
Harrison in that?
I'm George Janko.
Okay, you're George Janko. But so I referred to you as Ringo in that podcast.
That was the only thing that hurt me. I was like, I feel like
that was the only thing that hurt him, guys. Not the, calling him out for being assaulted.
like I'm not Ringo. I feel like I'm.
Well, I mean, you're not John Lennon.
Get out.
No. In terms
Get
of
out.
Between you.
No. Between all of them.
Yeah.
I'm definitely John Lennon.
Oh, you really?
I know.
So
for
who's
a fact.
Ringo? Who's Paul?
What the fuck is this whole discussion?
I get what you're doing.
Logan Paul is the groupies.
Whoa.
Bobby,
Yeah.
I knew exactly who you were, and I said this on the episode with Mike, and
Okay, this is gonna be good.
I'll say it again in front of you. Oh, I do appreciate your apology. If it was me and you and we were just messing around and we were like having a podcast and you kept grabbing me because I know your comedy, I wouldn't be bothered by it.
Oh, you wouldn't be bothered by it because it was him. All right.
know who you are, I know your comedy, I've seen your podcast. What bothered me on that episode was my friends weren't being friends.
You said that it didn't bother you because you know his comedy. Why should they stand up for you? Because they knew his comedy too, right? If this is something that's such a nothing burger to you that you are doing a podcast with someone that allegedly assaulted you, then can you explain to me why they should go out on a limb to protect you if it didn't even bother you? The most insulting part of the podcast was him calling you Ringo? What?
Didn't back you.
They didn't back me, bro.
Yeah.
It's their fault. It's Logan's fault. You're great. You're great. I'll suck your dick. You'll suck mine. I know this the way this LA influencer scene works. We'll just I'll rub you from behind. You rub me.
He saw that I was actually going through things and they stepped on me when I was down, and it just felt like I wasn't in a place where the people around me wanted me to succeed. I apologize.
This entire thing is a massive public shitstorm to promote his podcast. See, I didn't even know George Janko had a podcast before all this. Well, now I do. I'm not gonna watch it because I don't like him. I think that he's fake, personally.
Is that you kind of got caught.
Why would he expose Bobby just to bring him on his podcast? Why would he expose Bobby just to bring him on his podcast? That is, what are you talking about? This video has 2 million views. Hello? You need a better excuse than that? 100,000. 2 million! All right. 400,000, because that's responding to the Logan Paul. All right, 200,000. All right, it's not relevant to his current drama. The Bobby Lee one, 1 million! Do you wonder why? You really wonder why he did all this? Listen, I'm not saying it's for clout and shit, but it's totally for clout and shit. The way he allegedly was gonna leave Logan Paul's podcast, but didn't, and then he started his own channel, and then that happened, and then he left, and then he called out Bobby Lee, and now he's best friends with Bobby Lee.
In this whole drama that we were all put into, but I just want to let you know, before, after, and during, I'm a fan of you, man. I really.
Really? Because that is not how it seemed in the pre previous episode when you called him a sexual predator. Allegedly.
I really am. I like your comedy.
You're gonna make me cry.
No, I really am, bro. I really am.
Yeah. Thank you. And let's just put it behind us.
Yeah.
Let's work together.
Obviously, Bobby Lee needs to fucking get out of this. He's in a rough spot. The whole internet's calling him a predator right now.
The next few years, you know, I'm gonna get out of the business at one point.
Why?
Especially podcasting. It's a very toxic environment, and I've gotten a lot of DMs saying that if you try to grab me, I'd fucking break your wrists.
Oh, so it was because of hate. Interesting. And he's laughing that he got hate from his podcast. Hilarious.
Like 20 of them. You know what I mean? Bro, try to, which I don't even remember doing. And I was like,
I don't remember. Have I forgot that I forgot to tell you I have early onset Alzheimer's. I can't possibly be held accountable for that shit.
kind of go, I didn't even know what the fuck it was for a while until I went, did I? I don't remember, but.
You know that episode is still on YouTube.
I actually, you know, it's so funny.
And I asked my assistant to
This is great. This is so good.
look it up, and she's like,
Oh, you didn't want to look at yourself. Okay.
I didn't see that. You know what I mean? And I was
It was cut out of the episode, and they framed it to look like he was offended by your joke. That was literally his whole argument.
It's like, oh.
Here. I was going
This is going to be good shit. This is my favorite part of this whole segment.
go into this whole, like, retaliation. But I do have receipts, and I have the clip as well.
All right, this is a clip. I don't know what's on the clip exactly, but this is a clip of him sexually assaulting him, allegedly. I don't know what's on the clip, but that's how it's being framed, okay? Now, look at the reaction.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, oh, no. I have receipts. I just didn't want to do that. Wasn't my whole, like,
It wasn't his whole, like,
Let's move on from that.
Well, he is cooked. Undeniable proof. He's cooked. It's over. It's literally over.